Okay, happy Thursday, everybody. It is noon, and that means that it is our numerologist astrology show of the week. This is today, this is an episode, I guess. It's a conversation, and I'm here with the fabulous world-class astrologer, Kelli Fox. Kelli, thank you so much for joining us and for being here to talk about everything we're going to talk about today.
Hi, Leanne, and always great to be here chatting with you each week. I always look forward to it.
Yes.
And hello, everybody. So today I want to talk about the full moon in Taurus, which is happening on Saturday, and it also happens to be a blue moon. So what that means is that it's the second full moon of a calendar month. Disclaimer, depending on where you are in the world. So yes, if you're in the eastern part of the world, then it's not so applicable. It just depends where you are. But for most of us, it's a blue moon, second full moon in a calendar month. And so what it means astrologically is a blue moon, really, astrology is not about calendars. Calendars are human-made. And astrology is about the natural cycles and rhythms of our universe, of our world, of our earth. So that's why astrology is so great. It's based on the astrology we do here in the Western Hemisphere. It's based off the seasons. So that's why it's really important when we celebrate the equinox and the solstice. And Halloween happens to be the midpoint between the equinox and the solstice.
I'm learning. I remember that. And so first of all, I'm so excited to actually be talking to you today about what a blue moon is and what this means, because growing up and throughout the years, you always hear, oh, once in a blue moon.
Yes.
This really casual phrase that we have adopted into our into our lives and our everyday, into our everyday language to basically signify something that only is rare and it only happens so often. And little did I know years ago, that it was actually based off of an astrological event that is considered a blue moon. So,
and on that note, can I just say, when it's your birthday and people say many happy returns?
Yes.
That in astrology, that's a solar return. That's your birthday. Yes.
So there's so many different things. And then, so it's Halloween that is between the equinox and the solstice, not a blue moon. And so this is just it is very rare that we have a blue moon on Halloween. How often do we get a blue moon a year? Do we get multiple blue moons a year, or not even?
It just depends. There's no set amount. It's just it's not random, but it's random. And again, because it's based off the calendar's got nothing to do with astrology. I mean, we make everything fit into our calendar. That's why we have a leap year every 4 years to make up for how we can't really fit our natural cycles into a human-made calendar. But I thought you were going to ask me, how often does a full moon happen on Halloween?
Oh, yeah, that too.
Every 19 years.
Oh, wow.
I'm glad you asked.
And do you know what's exciting about that, or at least I find it exciting? It's okay, 19 years, 1 + 9, bringing in numerology, that's 10, and 10, that's the 1. It's a new beginning. And so you feel with everything we've gone through this year and things are starting to, shift and open up, that's very interesting.
Absolutely. And I just want to do a shout out to Nikki Diana. Sorry to hear that's going on. And Nikki, I think I've seen you on my Zoom events. So just wanted to say hello and sorry to hear. Hope everything's okay. And hello to everyone else. So the blue moon, full moon, the Halloween full moon, blue moon, the Taurus full moon that's happening on Saturday. So that's what I want to talk about today, and then how that's affecting all the 12 zodiac signs and how we can make the most of the energy of the blue moon, full moon, Taurus full moon. I just try to say all of it so I'm not missing anything. So a full moon happens typically once in a calendar month. This time it's the second time. That's why it's called a blue moon. And really what it is, it's like if you think about the dark night sky, and the moon has been building from not being able to see the moon at all at the new moon, which was, let me take a look here, on October 16th, and it was at 23 degrees Libra. So that was all about relationships and challenges within our relationships, because I know that new moon that we had 2 weeks ago was, going up against the heavy hitting outer planets, particularly Saturn and Pluto. So this full moon in Taurus. So what we can expect is, full moons are always really intense because it's the sun and the moon opposite each other and our little Earth in the middle. Okay, technically, yes, the moon is smaller than the Earth, but the energy of the moon is big. So I'm speaking energetically. And of course, nothing is as big as the sun. So we've got the sun and moon opposite each other, our little Earth and us in the middle of this tug of war going on with the sun is about the core of who we are. It's our radiant selves. You think about with the sun, how it shines brightly. Well, then that's representative of us shining brightly out in the world. And then the moon is emotions and feelings. And so that's why it's like, if you've noticed for the more sensitive among us, and particularly the water signs, and that's Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, it's like it's a very emotionally charged time. And especially for Cancer too, because, the moon is the ruler of Cancer, the crab. So that's why Cancer can feel the feelings a lot more at the time of a full moon. So we've got this full moon in Taurus. So when you put all that together, heightened emotions, Taurus rules. Every time, I don't know why I keep doing this, but every time I say Taurus, I always want to say cuddly Taurus. Cuddly Taurus. So Taurus is the sign of sensuality. It's the sign of finances. It's the sign of comfort. So what's going to be really important for all of us at this time is to feel comfortable with our own big emotions.
Unmute myself. That's really interesting because I've always thought of Taurus as the material comforts or the earthly, like material, not even meaning like, an expensive something, although luxury does come to mind when I think of Taurus, like the earth elements. And so it's really interesting that you bring in the emotions here and how it's not just like the physical comfort, but being comfortable with the inner as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what we can expect, and as you said, it's about material. I would say materialism. That doesn't sound right. It's about, good quality stuff. It's about not skirting over something or going for a bargain. This is what we need to look at are things that are going to be long lasting. So, and that comes with emotions too, because it's the full moon. So it's like we're looking at quality. We're looking at quality over quantity. And we're also looking at what are our values at this time. And many of us might be in for a surprise because Uranus, planet of the unexpected, is hooking up with the full moon. So that's really interesting because it's going to bring a really big shakeup. And if it hasn't already, because I've been noticing this week, I'm already feeling the effects of this full moon. So it's like, especially if you're a fixed sign, and that's Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So, there's a shakeup coming for the fixed signs or anybody that has planets in the fixed signs. Now, the fixed signs, they're not really adaptable or flexible. They're definitely more not go with the flow, all the opposite words to what I just said. So it's like the fixed signs are definitely, they've got a one-track mind, very focused, you'll never get them off the path, that sort of thing. But this full moon, because of the hookup with Uranus, will bring a big shakeup. So what we can expect the unexpected, especially when it comes to emotions, especially when it comes to our relationships. If you're single or coupled, if you're single, this is relationships with those people that are closest to you, your best friend, your family, whatever. So it's like this is a time where we've got to find compromise within our relationship. This is a time to not dig heels in or be too set in our ways, because that's what Uranus will bring, is the shakeup. Now, why I'm also talking about relationships, and really, when isn't it about relationships? But full moons are always about, if you think of it like a seesaw, you've got to get into the middle of that seesaw because you're on one side and the other person's on the other. You get into the middle and find the balance. So that's the visual of that. But here's the other thing going on this week is, and this energy doesn't, well, it sort of does. I shouldn't say that. Everything, that's what astrology teaches us. Everything is connected. I mean, everything is connected. So what happened on Tuesday of this week is we had Mercury retrograding back into Libra and love planet Venus moving into Libra. So we've got Mercury and Venus in Libra. Mercury is planet of communication in the mind, and Venus is planet of love and money. Now, the connection there, because both Mercury and Venus are in Libra, Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus also rules Taurus. So that's why I keep talking about relationships and emphasizing finding a middle ground when it comes to your closest relationships. Let's not get too opinionated. Let's not get too stuck in our ways, because there's going to be a bit of a shove that comes from Uranus, planet of the unexpected. So what that means is that now it's about relationships, and now it's about, doing all things Venus. So what that means is, it's like Venus is about love, romance, socializing. It's about beauty, harmony, peace. I can't emphasize that word enough. There's so much going out there in the world. Right now we've got to build up, in the US to something big next week. So it's like, this is about peace. This is about finding balance and compromise. And because it's a full moon, what that tells astrologers straight away is it's going to be one extreme or the other. But what's going to be crucial, so we can all move forward as aligned as best as we can, is to find that middle ground. And I mean, I know it's easy for me to stand here and say that because, we're in a very charged period at this time in a super unbelievably challenging year. So we're sort of right at this point. And, the reminder here is the Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrogrades always bring confusion or misunderstandings, and this is no exception. The thing here is, though, it's in Libra. So on Tuesday, we had Mercury retrograde change from Scorpio to Libra. So Libra is also the sign not just of relationships and balance and harmony, but it's the sign of the justice system. Because if you think about the symbol for Libra, it's the scales, scales of justice. So that's what we're looking at this time as well. And the other thing is, because there's so much Venus energy with the full moon and Mercury and Libra in Venus, remember I always say there's a shadow side to everything, and that's what astrology teaches us as well. As much as we'd all like to live in the light, we have to deal with the shadow. And it's sort of like, again, it's about finding the balance, because we all want to be, peace and light. Absolutely. Who doesn't, especially this year? But what's important is, if you go too far to the extreme and refuse to look at the shadow will get bigger. And so in this instance, because of the influence of Venus, the shadow of Venus is hate. So Venus is love, the shadow is hate. It's not indifference. I know, outside of Venus, it's indifference, but really when it comes to Venus, it's love and hate. So everybody, just all signs need to be really careful of that, especially, as I said, what's going on, this coming week. So I want to talk about what each of the zodiac signs can expect, not just with the full moon, but with these other energies of this week. So if you're an Aries the ram, the brave, fearless warrior of the zodiac, Aries, there has been some impatience and frustration and delays, and your ruling planet is Mars, and Mars has been retrograde since September 9th. But the good news is Mars on November 13th will be turning direct. So what that means for Aries is, all systems go, especially as we are looking at eclipse season starting November 30th. So it's like things are building and building up. Now, the key here with this full moon for Aries is about what is it that you value? And what is it that you value beyond money? So that's really what is being called upon you at this time. And you know what? If you really take a minute from your busy schedule, because Aries is the sign that's always on the go, if you just take a minute and really think through it, you might be surprised by the results or by what you come up with. And remember here, the key word to this full moon is surprise. And that really doesn't fit well with the energy of Taurus. So you've got these sort of like two energies that don't really go together, because Taurus is the energy of Taurus is more conservative and tried and true. And so with the energy of Uranus, it's radical, it's the new, it's innovation and, advances when we look at a futuristic point of view. So you've got this sort of like, dichotomy of energies going on with this full moon. So that's just about Uranus and Taurus. And then you've got the push-pull of the sun and the moon opposite each other. Now, if you're a Taurus, this is your annual full moon. So this is your annual full moon, which means something comes to a head. Something is highlighted that may have started as far back as 6 months ago in April, when the new moon was in the sign of Taurus. So this is a 6-month cycle and for Taurus. And so what that means is that something will reach a climax, or something is hitting the peak of a situation. So for Taurus, it's very much about the light will be, fully shone into the darkness at this time. So something will be revealed, in other words, particularly with the Mercury retrograde, and particularly around love and money, because of Mercury and Venus and the moon being ruled by Venus, planet of love, which Taurus is your ruling planet. So for you, values, again, like I said to Aries, but for you, Taurus, highlighted even more so, and what really affects you personally. Now, Gemini, for you with this full moon in Taurus, pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to your what's going on around you, more than usual, because you typically do. But it's like dreams, trusting intuition and instincts. And so at this time, it's very much about, listening to what your dreams are telling you. And I know usually it's sort of hard to decipher what dreams mean, because they're so wild and wacky a lot of the times. But for you, Gemini, you're very quick, you're very clever. So it's important to pay attention and not just always be in the intellectual realms, but to really get into the higher realms or the spiritual realms at this time. And something might come about that surprises you to do with that. Now, Cancer the crab. So the moon is your ruler. And so anytime there's a full moon, you're definitely always affected. You're a very sensitive water sign. And so with this full moon in Taurus, the actual moon is exalted when it's in Taurus, which means the moon likes being hooked up with Taurus, because remember, the planets have their favorite signs and their not so favorite signs. And so the moon's favorite sign is your sign, Cancer. So the moon's favorite sign is Cancer, and its second favorite sign is Taurus. So this is a very strong moon. The only issue here is, of course, Uranus, the unexpected, which the moon can handle, because the moon is very fluid and flowing. So it's not sort of rigid and stuck. So this full moon can handle being hooked up with Uranus, as difficult as it can be with Uranus sometimes, being the planet of anything goes and anything different than what we're used to. And just remember as well that the full moon, just because it's happening on Saturday, it doesn't mean that's the only day where we'll be feeling the effects of the full moon. The effects, I've been feeling the effects of this full moon, Leanne, all this week. So, and we'd be feeling it all next week as well. So I know you probably have as well.
Yeah, and Mercury retrograde. I'm like, there's been so many weird things that have happened that you can't even really I'm like, wow, Mercury's still retrograde. So I guess it makes sense because there's no way to make sense of it. I just want to take a quick moment to say hello to everyone who's joining us. Kelli is talking about a blue moon, once in a blue moon, and what happens and what is a blue moon. So you can watch this from the beginning. This is going to be saved on the Facebook page. And right now we're going through, or Kelli is going through each of the sun signs and how this full moon and astrological energy is really impacting each one of us by sign. So definitely take notes. I know I've been taking a lot of notes today. And make sure that you tag friends or share this with friends who will find this valuable. Lots of great stuff. Thank you so much, Kelli.
And so with Leo, the lion, Leo is a fixed sign, the other fixed signs being Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And so this full moon really will throw some shade. Even though it's a bright shining light in the sky, there will be some shade on the fixed signs. And Leo, what's coming about is other people might surprise you. And don't take the bait. You know, if you're provoked, I'm taking a deep breath because, you know, like I'm really feeling that in my body as I say it. So it's like, don't take the bait. Try not to be provoked. And even though we have this information, sometimes it's difficult to not take the bait and be provoked. But what it's teaching us, particularly last week's Mercury retrograde being in a very challenging sign as well, it's like for you, Leo, it's important that you don't be too fixed in your opinions. Be open to what other people are telling you. As hard as that might be to hear, because with the Mercury retrograde, we don't always get the message loud and clear. Now, Virgo, for you, what's coming about with this Taurus full moon? It's a nice Uranus currently in Taurus. There's a double dose here of Earth energy. So there might be some pleasant surprises coming your way, Virgo, with this full moon in Taurus. And what it's telling you is, look at a situation from a philosophical point of view. Virgo, you're typically really good with detail, but at this time, take a step back from the detail and look at a situation from a different point of view or a higher point of view. In other words, don't just look at the trees, look at the forest as well. Now, Libra for you. So what's going on is Mercury retrograde and Venus are in your sign at this time. That does lighten things up somewhat, not completely, because, these Libra planets are hooking into the heavy hitters, again, throwing some challenges at you. But you know what, Libra, you've been through so much already these past couple of years. It's nothing you can't handle. So it's like, it's not a biggie compared to, the other stuff you've been dealing with. But it's like, not everything's going to be smooth sailing just yet. Now, the key here is your closest relationships because, you are ruled by Venus. Venus also rules the full moon. So what that tells me straight away is this is all about relationships. So pay attention and stop giving so much of yourself. I know it's hard to do because you are a people pleaser, but now it might be time to, as I said, find that compromise and find that balance instead of just giving and giving and giving until there's nothing left for anyone else, but especially for you. Scorpio for you, and this is like a da-da-da-da. So Scorpio for you with this annual full moon in Taurus, it's in your opposite sign. So that's all about relationships. I mean, it is for all of us, but some of us more so. And so for you, Scorpio, this Taurus full moon is definitely about finding compromise. And that's going to be hard for you to do sometimes. So, it's about in your closest relationships, find that middle ground. Be open to your partner's opinion or your best friend's opinion. Be really open. As hard as that may be, the best use of this energy for you, Scorpio, is to really just allow yourself to just be and go as deep as you love to do with your partner. No matter how scary that might seem, it's like it's okay to do that at this time, and you might be surprised by the results. Sagittarius for you, what's coming about is, you're very much about, at this time with the full moon, it's in your solar 6th house. And so what that means is it's about taking care of you, looking after you, getting your routines in order for the long term. And I know, Sagittarius, you're thinking, oh, ho hum, why can't I have something exciting go on with this full moon? But let me tell you something, or let me remind you that Uranus, planet of the unexpected, is hooking up with this full moon. So Sagittarius, what that means for you is you might actually be surprised by how much you are enjoying getting your routines and the mundane sorted out. And I know you can pretend on the outside as much as you want that that's really boring and what have you, but really, I think secretly inside you might get some sort of enjoyment out of not just like getting things sorted and tidied up, but really taking care of you. This is a time for you, Sagittarius, for self-care. Next up, we've got Capricorn, and yay for you, Capricorn. You are definitely one of those signs that have been tested and trialed and over and over and over again, and you've risen to every single challenge that's been thrown at you. So what comes about for you is this full moon in Taurus is in a fellow earth sign. This is great news for you. You can finally put 2 feet on the ground and feel really steady and solid and secure. Now, you know, there's a disclaimer. We've still got Mars retrograde, which is throwing up some challenges for you, Capricorn, but that will come to an end in a couple of weeks. So know that there is end in sight coming very, very soon. And Aquarius, for you, you're a fixed sign, so you're being definitely tested by this full moon in a fellow fixed sign. And of course, your ruling planet is in also Taurus. So there are some challenges there for you. The key here is don't dig your heels in. Don't be too fixed in your opinions, which you can do sometimes. Even though your planetary ruler is Uranus, your modern day ruler, your ancient or co-ruler is Saturn. So what that tells me is it gives you some groundedness. It gives you a dose of reality, which you always have. It's just that other people don't really get you or understand your futuristic visionary ideas. But in this instance, the full moon for you, Aquarius, is about finding a middle ground. It is for all of us, but especially for some of the signs, and in particular the fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, or anybody that has planets in the fixed signs. And then finally, Pisces. This is a really nice energy for you. You might be in for some pleasant surprises. What this Taurus full moon does for you, it grounds you. It brings you a moment where you can really look to the future and feel quite solid about the future. Given the year that we've had, everything's sort of up in the air. This is a time where we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And for you, Pisces, it's very much about, you're the dreamer, you're the intuitive, you're the psychic of the Zodiac. And this is a time when you will feel grounded, where you actually can come up with these, brilliant ideas, but they are dosed in reality thanks to the Taurus full moon.
Well, that's very exciting and good to know. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I know there are lots of comments. Diane says she will be joining your 2 p.m. Zoom call. If you have not, and Kelly, thank you. Thank you for all of that.
Welcome.
So much information. I had you on the main screen and I was just writing notes back here, taking it all down. I'm just going to take a minute and put something up on the screen here. So first of all, I'll say in the comments of this video, you can click and you can get your free, whoopsies. You can click and you can get your free astrology video report. And the other thing that I want to do is I want to put up your newsletters link. And so you can join Kelly's newsletter. This is a great way to stay up to date and in the know about everything that's going on astrologically. And you can also get updates on the we'll say private events that Kelly hosts in a more intimate setting, and she will do live readings there, which is so exciting. So you can go to astrology.tv/newsletter or newsletters, and you can get on, you can join her community there, and you'll be up to date with everything. So Kelly, thank you.
Thanks, Leanne.
You shared, and I look forward to connecting with you next week after the yeah, after Halloween, after the full moon, after the blue moon, I think there's a lot going on right now. So I'm already excited to see what happens next.
Da 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 da.
Da, 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 it's like, woo, I don't know.
Well,
And
thanks, Leanne, and everybody. Wishing you all the best for the full moon, blue moon, Halloween moon on Saturday.
okay, bye.
Bye.